Hello there. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Mayegun Live. And you're welcome back again. So, brethren, as you are tuning in and joining this broadcast, I do implore you to please read beyond the description of, the caption of the broadcast. Read the description of the broadcast as well. Then like it, share it, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends. Tell them all that Mayegun today. And if you have done that already, thank you. Just one sec. Yeah, if you have done that already, thank you. And if you haven't, please do it before you settle down into the convo. So, brethren, tonight we have, like as usual, we have series of raging topics and like happenings as we speak. So we're going to start with Rivers State. Tinubu that declared state of emergency in Rivers State understands very well that the fake 1999 constitution that doesn't actually represent the sort of the yearnings of the people per se, it didn't have the people's approval. He knows the buried lacuna inside it that actually makes anybody who is the president of that contraption more or less like the most powerful person in the world. He knows that. So when majority screamed that Tinubu was abusing the privilege of, the presidency of Nigeria, and at the same time, he was slowly, destroying democracy. He had his praise singers then. He also had his critics. However, it seems to just have moved on. Tinubu appointed a caretaker appointed an administrator, sole administrator for Rivers State as his own solution to avert any form of a breakdown of law and order. Now, inside that fake 1999 constitution, there is no provision, for sole administrator ever. So when Tinubu made that declaration, he said the National Assembly, which eventually approved that decision, he said the National Assembly would be there, to act like the lawmakers and the checks and balances for the administrator for 6 months. So which means he also said the administrator won't make any new law and it won't make any new appointment whatsoever. That seemed to have changed. Part of the reasons why the crisis in Rivers State got to where it got to, primarily was because of the interested parties. For those of you who have been following it, so I don't have to repeat all of that, okay? So the primary interested parties, which sort of escalated it based on, kind of like a broken agreement. That's what they call it. Agreement was agreement, and Fubara kind of like didn't fulfill that agreement until today, except for those who were around them who claimed that Wike was asking for a certain percentage of the state allocation, 30%, which he couldn't, in good conscience, give to him, and then led to, okay, we are decamping to APC. There was a plot to remove him. Those who wanted to remove him now openly said they've decamped, which was a wrong move. A move that Nigeria judiciary used the same corrupt, compromised way, to remove that from all of their evidence. And the Supreme Court of Nigeria reinstated them, which means all the power that they didn't even have now been like given to them by this declaration, recharged, right? So they said Fubara, before the judgment, was acting alone. He was not presenting the state budget, right, to the state House of Assembly members who were supposedly no longer House of Assembly members at the time. So, and then they said that he must not be given the state allocation. Sorry, the state local government allocation. If he only kind of like keeping caretaker chairman, that was also the Supreme Court ruling. So Fubara conducted his own selection to put his own guys in a local government level so as to fulfill that part of Supreme Court judgment, right? I say, well, legally, they have been elected, local government election has been conducted, but the battle continued that the power to appoint the local government administrator, the RSIEC, that is the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, okay, RSIEC. The power to appoint that has been taken away from governor by this State House of Assembly. They passed a bill into law and they signed it into law themselves, which, according to them, they've amended the state law that gave the power to Fubara to appoint local government election, kind of like a RSIEC, right? So this was going on behind the scene. There is also a court case along that. So it was more or less like everything Fubara did in their book was wrong and illegal, right? Then Tinubu appointed this sole administrator. The sole administrator came in. First, he dissolved the state government, right? And he went on to also dissolve the local government, Oangon. The court already dissolved them before him, all right? So they said that the head of local government administrators, August, should be in charge of the local government areas. Right. The Supreme Court said that the state allocation should not be released to Fubara until he presents the state budget to this House of Assembly, reinstated House of Assembly members. And also, a new local government election must be conducted. Now, here is where things get quite interesting, okay? So in the name of it's been violating this, it's been violating that. When Tinubu now suspended the elected government of Rivers State and appointed a caretaker, a sole administrator rather. Now you see this sole administrator suddenly just have all the absolute power to do exactly what they said Fubara did, which was against the law. Fubara didn't present the state budget to the State House of Assembly, according to them. So it must not be given the local government allocation and it must not be given the state allocation, okay? So it's the conducted local government selection was like voided, right? But you see this guy, this one didn't conduct any, there is no elected local government administration, and at the same time, there's no State House of Assembly. But somehow, as a state administrator, he has the power to appropriate funds. I mean, normally, he's probably supposed to take it to the National Assembly for the approval of anything he's trying to do, even including appointments, Abby. But that's not what is going on, right? The guy needs some, well, he's been sacking people and all that. Apart from those who have been suspecting that it is another way of bringing the weakest men back into, in charge of Rivers State. Others are saying it is just a systemic coup. There are a lot of people, for some reason, who don't understand it, right? That is a systemic coup. But if Tinubu to hand over Rivers State to APC, in this kind of like context, okay? So, yesterday, this guy, after dissolving the RSIEC, like, I don't know, again, like I said, there is nowhere in the Nigerian constitution that has an office for sole administrator. None. There's nothing like that. And then secondly, right, whatever the guy is doing, there is actually no law to back thing he's doing. Do you get that now? Like, it is like suspending a government of a whole place, right? And then unelected person is now in charge of your affair. And surprisingly or suddenly, that was legal, even though there is no section of Nigeria Constitution at all that gives such rule. So illegality is taking place as we speak. It seems everybody just kind of like just moved on, right? I don't know. Like, Nigeria has become that hopeless. Sometimes I'm like, right? I mean, there used to be a lot of people, men who feels like before this whole place goes to the dogs, they are still very much vocal and loud and all that. But now everybody just seems to be like, you know, just pretending like they are not seeing anything. I don't know, right? So the guy has appointed new RSIEC members. You get it now? He has also appointed 23 caretaker chairmen for all of the 23 local government areas of Rivers State. Now, I am probably not going to be surprised, right, if all these guys are actually the weakest men. I won't be surprised, because that would be very much naive of me to expect otherwise. Do you get what I mean? Like, that would be very naive to say, well, you know, I'm so surprised that they are with the weakest men. So I'm like, how is this normal? Like, how is this all right? So, well, maybe some of you will be able to, you know, possibly help me, you know, to understand how this is okay. You know, so the guy is now planning to conduct local government elections in Rivers State. Yeah. I mean, it's so good. The deal is so good that the guy is actually signing government documents where Rivers State is taking loans. Do you understand? It was like, oh, Fubara was planning to take this 40 billion naira loan or this 500 billion naira loan. So they'll just be like, okay, what's it for? Say, okay, yeah, okay, bring it, let's just modify it. We modify it, it's already an almost done deal. Then he just signs it, and yeah, his signatures, right, are actually pulling out cash from Rivers State purse. Institutions are honoring his signatures on checks. And I'm like, but there is actually no real law to back this up. And Nigeria has become so lawless that it is the least of people's worries. Like, oh, that one is small. Oh, that's their problem, Jare, Baba. Oh, that's their, like, it's not all right. It's called impunity when the rule of man is above the rule of law. You see? Because Nigeria is a place where you have powerful men instead of powerful institutions. So how did this pass? In the face of all the Abina, sandpaper, all these people, lawyers in Nigeria, how did this pass? By virtue of the Central Bank of Nigeria's declaration, right? One, allocation of Rivers State, right, must not be released to the governor of Rivers State until, one, a new local government election is conducted and new chairman sworn in. Two, until they present the 2025 budget to the State House of Assembly. But now, the State House of Assembly has been suspended. The governor has been suspended. A sole administrator has been appointed. And there is actually no legal backing, no amendment in the Constitution to say, they have to go and quickly amend the Constitution and create a position for sole administrator. Sure, you get. Like, do you have to be a lawyer to understand this? Does anybody here have any section of Nigerian law, right, that actually backs the creation of the office of a sole administrator states new, just same way they argued it to the Supreme Court that there was no part of Nigeria Constitution that recognizes caretaker committee or caretaker chairman at the local government level. And that was the ruling of the local of the Supreme Court, Abi, that but Tinubu overrode the Supreme Court when he made this appointed this Ibas guy, right? He just ordered them to release the money to him. And right now, the guy is actually like acting. He's acting like he's the governor of Rivers State. To the point that people are realigning, by the way. That one is another thing. It's like most of the people around Fubara, they are beginning to move a little bit back. Some of them are already going behind to associate with this sole administrator. But that is that. Well, that's their own problem. But mine is, how does this, for any reason, not illegal? I mean, how is this not illegal? How? Are things become so like Tinubu could just like declare a state of emergency in anywhere? And mind you, the reason why they claimed to have declared a state of emergency in Rivers State was that they got an intel, and that intel said Fubara and some militants were planning to blow up pipelines. It was pretty much like a 5-10, right? Like, it's so much loud at the time that, they're going to blow up pipeline. They're going to blow up pipelines. Then suddenly, we heard that the pipeline trans Niger pipeline have been blown up. Okay, then state of emergency. Then the day after, Trans-Niger pipeline that blew up yesterday has been fixed, it's back up running, and there was no more bombing, there was no more, there's no more talk of, we're going to bomb this, or we're going to, there's no more talk of, there's some group of people organizing violence in Niger Delta because of Fubara. No more talk of that. Right now, it is realignment. Just like, Fubara was also appointed by Tinubu, and therefore Tinubu removed him. No big deal. Let's move on. That's what I'm looking at right now. No matter how you try to justify it and all that, but it doesn't make any sense. Somebody said it, you see, legalizing illegality. It will never make it right. It will never make it. I know some people are right now telling themselves that, leave them, let them continue to do what they are doing. The table will turn. When it turns to their own, when it becomes their own turn, maybe they will now come back and begin to say it is illegal. We will show them. Is that not why you are where you are today as a people? For Rivers people, by the way, I don't know. See, there is something. I don't know. Maybe not because of after this Koro, you get. It can be like say something don't happen to our gene, our DNA, people. And then I'm like, or is it because of the level of hunger, the hardship in Nigeria? Back in the days, there were some states that people believe that I'm trouble you look for. If some things go this way or fail to go that way, you are looking for big problem. These people. But these days, remember that of Edo? In Edo State, it was like, I don't know Lagos, we don't go play for anybody, we don't go. You get. The day of that election came, I know they read it, okay. But at the same time, we also saw the rules of, Edo Light, and I'm like, where are those people? They know they agree like that. They even just like show some force, show something. Nothing, no. Everybody just went on like that. Everybody is now back to watching their campaign video where, well, do you promise them insecurity, and they're like, oh, he's promised us insecurity, look at us now, and on like that. So similarly, when you talk about you know, the tough boys, having an hard boys in River State is one of the most notorious states in Nigeria, where people believe that they are cultists, very strong-headed, they have